Welcome back, my friends, to episode 2 of vaRAIety, a podcast from the crazy mind of the right. Hello, hello. So, I don't know, I just kind of felt like we could do the episode today in kind of a weird place. I don't know, it's like I'm just feeling kind of weird this week, and that's okay. So I decided I'd film in a weird place. So this is a source. This is like a scene I was working on many moons ago, and nothing ever came of it. So it's kind of just sat as a scene in my OBS for years without anything happening. So I figured, it's like I don't know. It felt like the right place to go today, kind of into a void of just, I don't know. It's a weird place. It just felt right. I don't know. I can't explain it. So we're here today. We've got some Chrono Trigger music on in the background. I don't know if you guys can even hear it much, but for me, it's just a little something for me to listen to while I talk. You don't have to have it. You listen to me. So I need something to listen to, so I've got that. But yeah, hello. Hi. I hope you guys are doing great, and I hope you were able to watch the first episode. I hope you were able to enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I'm still getting a feel for the format, but I do really like having just an outlet where we can talk. Also, I should put on some clothes because, I am a gentleman here. But yeah, I think for now we're just gonna talk a little bit, and just some things on my mind. I've got notes written down. We've got some questions from the community, so I don't know. I guess we'll just start talking, and we'll see where the questions take us, and we'll let the conversation flow. Thankfully, I feel like we can just kind of see where the conversation takes us, and I think that's kind of a beautiful thing. It's an interesting analogy. On the streams, you're always kind of in a rush in some regard, right? Like, sure, you can just chat, you can have a nice time, but there's always an objective. At least on my streams, we're always trying to get somewhere. So we're talking, but we have a game to play, or we have something else we need to do as well. I feel like just having a place where we can just talk freely into the void, and just kind of see where talking takes us is kind of an interesting opportunity for me, and I hope for you guys as well, just to kind of I don't know, maybe hear something that helps you in your life. So yeah, the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about today was I just kind of had the realization earlier how kind of cool it is to have a community, right? Like all of you guys, basically. I know many of the people that will listen will probably be some of my long-time viewers who we've been through a lot together, so I don't know, I just kind of was like thinking today, and I was like, it's kind of cool that I just have like this group of people, and like that's always rooting for me in life. Like we've been through a lot of highs and lows together, and I think it's just cool. Like I felt some level of comfort today just thinking about that, right? Like that when good things happen in my life, there's always going to be you group of people there that will be happy for me. And when bad things happen, you'll be there sad for me. But let's try to focus on the happy things, So I don't know. That's just kind of a comforting thought I have today. So if you're one of those true OGs that's been here with me for many years through a lot of good and bad, thank you for that, and thank you for still being here. I think there's some level of comfort, right, that comes with your ride or dies who have been by your side for a long time. It's a beautiful thing about friendship. It's like, you've got the ride or dies, the people that have been here forever. You have newer people that come into your life, and you don't really know. You never really know. I can say for sure there's been people in my life who I thought would end up as ride or dies, that just didn't. So I guess that's kind of the excitement of fresher friendships as well, is like, will they be a ride or die 5 years from now? If let's say 5 years from now, I'm getting married, let's just say, will someone who's a big part of my life right now be a part of it then? And I think it's very interesting. I don't know. It's just something I was kind of thinking about, the ride or dies that have been here for so long. And of course, there's a lot of newer people who are great, and hopefully will be ride or dies. That's all that's what you hope for. But we talked a lot about friendships in episode 1, and it's like, yeah, there's no guarantees that they will be a ride or die in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. But um, all you can do is kind of, those that are close to you, you kind of hope that they will be, but you never know. And I think that just goes to help you appreciate those people that have been ride or dies with you for a long, long time. Uh, it kind of gives you that you feel grateful for them, and also you feel kind of, I guess, optimistic that they've been here for this long, so they're probably going to be there. I guess there is that hurdle, right? That friendships, if they're going to fizzle, they oftentimes fizzle sooner than later. So I think once you make it to a certain point, at least in my experience, right? Like most of my long-term friends, I can comfortably say are ride or dies, for the most part. Not all, but a lot of them are, and I think that's the comforting thing, and then the excitement. Yeah, I mean, I already said it, but the excitement of newer friendships and where they might take you in life, where they might lead, you never really know. You never really know. Life is full of twists and turns, and that can be very scary and painful at times. But it also can be exciting, and it can kind of, I guess, invigorate that excitement in life, not knowing what's to come, and imagining the possibilities of what's to come. Because, I know I'm a daydreamer for sure, so I definitely daydream about the possibilities in the future, and what nice things, nice hangouts or nice cons, nice events that you'll get to go to with those that you care about. So I don't know. It's an exciting feeling. You never really know, but you just kind of hope for the best. So that's kind of what I wanted to open with today. I thought it'd be a nice kind of topic. So I want to give a particular shout out to all you ride or dies who have been here with me for many years, through thick and thin, through a lot of good times and some real dark times as well. So thank you. And to those of you who haven't been around as long, I truly hope that you will be ride or dies in my life as well, because that's what you hope for, right? Build those long-term connections. So yeah, I guess that's my opening. So we will kick it off with a question. We've got a few questions right now, and question number 1 comes from Langvander, and it says, "What dishes from other countries do you like?" The grammar was a little bit all over the place. I think he was tired when he wrote this, but I corrected the grammar to be correct. So, what dishes from other countries do you like? So, for me, I don't really have any super interesting things, to be honest. I grew up 30 minutes from the Mexico border, so I love Mexican food. All kinds of Mexican food, really all encompassing. So always been a big fan of Mexican food. When it comes to like Asian cuisines, I'm a big ramen guy. I mean, everyone loves ramen, but definitely big into ramen. One of my favorite foods for sure. Those are like, I mean, I guess really the two things that super jump out at me. I can say, oh, I love Italian food, I love spaghetti and pizza, but like, if we're being real, I mean, yeah, there's some things, at least for me, from every cuisine that I like, but those are the big ones, I would say. Definitely all kinds of Mexican food, and definitely when it comes to like, Japanese food or Asian food in general, I love trying new ramens. All kinds of ramens. Very few things hit like a bowl of noodles. You know what I mean? It's a simple thing, but they do be hitting, man. They really do. So, kind of a boring answer. I apologize for that, but I hope that you find some inspiration. Go make some ramen, Lang. You can't go wrong. Have some ramen. All right. Next question is from Fen, and it says, "I haven't had a chance to watch the full first Rai cast, I had to change the name. Sorry, it's called vaRAIety now because Rycast looks like racist. So I had to change it or else I'd get canceled. It says, so forgive me if you've already explained, but why did you choose to do half of the first episode with Facecam? I know you don't try hard to hide your face, but I don't recall you ever doing anything with Facecam before, so I was surprised. So, I mean, realistically, the reason why is because King was going to be on camera in his fursuit. I don't have a fursuit, so it would be a little... I mean, I don't know. I guess I just took the opportunity. So for me, right, it's far beyond you don't try hard to hide your face. For me, I mean, keep in mind, I first started making content on YouTube in 2006, and I first started streaming in like 2008. And guess what you saw in all those videos and streams? My face. That was all. My face was all over it. So I'm much more comfortable. Absolutely. I'm much more comfortable streaming with myself. I can be much more expressive. And, you know, technology is really cool. It's come a long way. But having the ability for me to talk with my hands, I'm, you know, my model can only do so much. I'm no technological genius, but with being on camera, I can do anything. And I was able to do a whole lot more. So it just opened up the possibility for me to do a lot. Yeah, I can be a lot more expressive, and you guys can get a much better... I'm a very expressive talker. I talk with facial expressions, and I talk with my hands. I talk with, you know, moving my body, which, you know, you can do to some extent with technology, like VTubing, but it's not, you know, someone was talking about it when we were on one of our streams, like, oh, there's Leap Motion and all this different stuff, full body tracking, but nothing will ever be as expressive as the real me. No technology can ever be as expressive as the real me. So it was an opportunity to be expressive, really. But, I mean, the real reason was I would not have pushed it. King said, oh, I could be in fursuit. And I said, oh, that sounds good. And I don't have a fursuit, so I came with my real human face. That's really the big reason, but the benefit of it was that I could be much more expressive. And yeah, I did a recap video, I believe it was at the end of 2022, with my face on my subathon 2 weeks ago. I was on Facecam. So yeah, I've done it. I've done it sparingly because we're all furries. You know, I don't pretend that you want to see my face over a cute dragon model. I'm not that egotistical. If I had a fursuit, I probably would have worn it because you know, that's nicer to look at. But I don't, so I went with what I had, and I'm more than comfortable. It's not that I'm not trying to hide my face. I'm more than comfortable showing my face freely, and so yeah, I hope that answers the question. I think that was a pretty good answer for a pretty simple question. I tried to answer it to the best of my abilities, so I hope that was helpful. Thanks for the question, Fen. All right, next question. Hey, Rye, big fan here. And then there's a bunch of key smashing. And it says, sorry, had to turn the big fan off, making it hard to type. Get it? Because it's like, big fan here. Thank you, mystery person. Anyways, what got you into professional wrestling? And to your guests, when you come back to wrestling, do you think you'll be getting that 17th championship? From Slackjaw Jim. So they're asking about wrestling, and this humor is very clearly Kelmori. So sorry, Slackjaw Jim. We got to the bottom of this mystery. So this is Kelmori. Thanks for the question, Kelmori. So first off, I'll answer the second question. To your guests, when you come back to wrestling, do you think you'll be getting that 17th championship? He's making a joke, guys, because I have no guests here. So it's John Cena because you can't see him. And he has 16 world championships, so he'd be getting his 17th. So... I get your reference, Kelmori. Good one, though. It took me a second. I had to think about that for a second. I was like, eh. But I appreciate the question. So yeah, how did you get into professional wrestling? So for me, my best friends at the time, I had two. They were both super into wrestling. So I got into it because that's what you do when you're a young guy. Your friends like something, and so you try to like it too. And in that case, I did like it. And, you know, my besties and me, we'd watch wrestling. We'd play with wrestling, you know, like the action figures. We had, one of my friends had almost like a ring set up in his garage He had like a whole big garage. You could hardly call it a garage. That thing was so massive. I mean, it was a garage, but it was more like a storage room or something, outdoor storage room almost. I mean, kind of it was a garage, but no one parked their car there. But I don't know, just I guess right rambling. But yeah, no, we did wrestling and we watched wrestling. We played wrestling. We were fully all in on wrestling. And it was great times. We played the video games, wrestling video games, SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation 1, No Mercy on the N64, a bunch of different wrestling games. So no, we were pretty all in on wrestling. And so I was into it for a while. And up until basically up about around till when I went in. So when I went to college, I didn't have cable. So I kind of stopped a lot of things that I used to watch. I just stopped watching them because I was in college and I had no cable. So I, at the time it was hard to watch stuff. So I kind of like lost touch with it for a few years. And I got out of college. I moved in with Toshabi, and like was living real life, working full time, missing stuff. So I kind of took a break. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, I met Pocat, who was super into wrestling. And I took the opportunity, again, we're all locked in our houses. And, Pocat and I talked about wrestling, and I talked about like all of my favorite wrestlers and favorite matches and stuff, favorite events, etc. from back in the day. And we talked about it. And then I started watching again because, again, I had all the dang time in the world because we were all locked down. And so then, yeah, basically, I mean, I just got back into it. And we went to frickin' WrestleMania in 2022. And hopefully I'll be able to go to WrestleMania 2025 in Las Vegas next April, in 6 months from now. I still have to figure out who I'm going with, if anyone. I need to buy tickets, so maybe I'll buy 2 tickets and see who I can convince to go there with me. I don't know. We'll see. So if you want to go to WrestleMania, I might have an extra ticket. I don't like going to things alone. I buy 2 tickets even if I can confidently say I don't have someone to go with. I'll buy 2 tickets just in case. So probably I'll buy 2 tickets and hope that I can find someone that I like to go with me. But yeah, that's how I started getting into professional wrestling. And then I was thankfully able to get back into it. And I'm not as earlier in the pandemic, I was like super obsessed, watched everything. Nowadays, it's still hard for me to keep up as much. It's like a full-time job almost, watching all the shows every week and participating in online discussions and stuff. But my finger's still pretty on the pulse, but it's not as on the pulse as it was. But I do, I try to watch Raw, sometimes SmackDown if I can, the pay-per-views, and, Reddit, obviously. So my finger's on the pulse, not as much as it once was. It's less than 2020. And but I guess more than when I was a kid, because as a kid, we couldn't watch the pay-per-views because they're expensive, So I feel like my finger was kind of off the pulse then too. I'd just come and like find a title had changed or something, and I hadn't watched the event, so I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, so I like wrestling, and I think it'll always, off and on. It should. I imagine it'll be a part of my life. To some extent, always. I've got my WrestleMania program right here on the wall. I've got my my Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens game event used mat from when they won the titles at that WrestleMania. I've got a lot of wrestling stuff, and I'm hoping to make some more memories in 2025 at WrestleMania. So, yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah, thank you. On a tangent, on that question, I was, this is going to be like a quick break for me to be a little introspective about myself. So, for all you non-wrestling fans out there, I've been thinking about this. This is something that's been on my mind. And, this podcast is going to be used to kind of, just talk about what's on my mind. It's just nice to have an outlet. People, for a lot of people that care, because it's hard to really, get your thoughts out there. You can always confide in a friend or something, but life is busy, so it's kind of nice to have a place where I can just talk. And, maybe people will relate to this and they'll, tell me, hey, I relate to that, right, Shu? And, and we'll talk about it and etc. But so anyway, there's a concept in wrestling, basically, I'm going to explain it dumbed down for you non-wrestling fans, but the wrestling fans will know what I'm talking about. So basically, there's a kind of like a trope, I guess, where certain people are better on the title chase. So what that basically means is certain wrestlers really thrive when they're the underdog, when they're going for a title. So, in wrestling, there's like championship belts, right? Like the world championship, the heavyweight championship, etc., stuff like that, right? So there's certain wrestlers who really, really thrive in that role where everyone can root for them. Like they're an underdog, they're going for this title, and everyone loves them. Like, oh, like they're so good at being the underdog and like fighting for that title. But then when they get the title, they kind of flame out, right? So there's some people who in wrestling are really, really good when they have the title. Like they need the title to thrive. Like without the title, they're kind of boring. There's some who are good at both. Whether they're chasing or whether they have the title, they're entertaining or they're interesting or they thrive in those environments. And yeah, in this case, there's certain people who are better at the chase. And I think I kind of had a weird realization about me this week that I need to work on not being that guy, because I am truly, and it was such a weird thing that clicked in my brain. I was like, I get it. I'm better at the chase. And basically what that means for me, and maybe other people will relate to this, but like for me, basically that means when I get too complacent, I'm kind of crap, right? Like when I'm on the chase, like I feel like right now I'm on the chase. Like a lot of things happen this year and like I'm kind of starting from scratch with my life as a whole. So I'm really on the chase right now. And I feel like I'm kind of thriving in a lot of ways. But my fear is when I'm not on the chase, when I eventually get settled down into another relationship, when I achieve all these things that I'm trying to do, like getting the podcast off the ground, getting my daily YouTube, when I get all these things off the ground and they're just kind of like thriving, or they're like, you reached your goal. You know what I mean? And once you reach your goal, it's easy to get complacent. And I realized it's funny because like I'm that guy too, and I'm like, I'm watching talking about wrestling online and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this guy's only good when he's chasing the title. And I realize that's me, and that's kind of a scary thought. And it's something I need to work on because, I don't want to be complacent, and I don't want to be like someone who's just stagnant and lame. Like, there's Raichu. Okay, he's in a relationship now again. He's good. He's got his stuff he's posting, but he's not really putting in the effort into it. He's just kind of going through the motions. And like, I'm trying not to be that. Again, right now, I feel like my streams are hitting, my YouTube videos are hitting, my podcast is hitting. Well, it's trying to hit, like all this stuff. And I'm like on the like I don't know. It's just a weird feeling, and I'm like I'm worried that once I reach my goals for a lot of these aspects of life again, because like starting over. It's funny because I had the same thought when we bought this house. I remember like it was like my entire life savings buying this house, and like I was starting from scratch. But let me tell you, I was thriving at that point because I was on the chase again. I had to build up my savings. I had to do all these things. And then after a while, done with the chase, I got complacent. And I was kind of in that limbo where if wrestling fans were talking about me online, they'd be like, okay, Raichu had his fun little arc, and now he's just boring and complacent and just kind of a piece of shit. So I think like I really need to work on that. And I think being self-aware in this case will help me a lot. And I think just knowing that's the case, I can kind of ensure that I don't fall into that again. Because like the saying goes, like old habits die hard, and that's definitely an old habit of mine. And I can think back to all the times where I let myself just get complacent and kind of just go through the motions. And now it's just funny. I had that realization. I could see people in my life, if they were wrestling fans, they're in my life thinking, damn it, Raichu, you're just going through the motions right now. Why? And I don't want to do that. So I think it's something I can work on, is that I can be someone who's not just good on the chase. I can be someone that is good on the chase, but then when I start reaching goals, I can also be good then and not stop or get complacent or just give up To feel like, oh, I don't need to try because, I've reached these goals. You always have to try. And I know that, and I understand that. And it's just interesting that I had that realization that I'd fallen into that trap and that kind of pit. So I don't know, the wrestling question, I was planning on talking about that, but the wrestling question was a good segue into it. So, it's something I'm going to work on, for myself. I think I can do better. I mean, I know I can do better at it, but I think I am, fully believe in myself that I will, do better with that in the future, because it's easy to, once you meet your dreams, like to just kind of say, well, I don't need to do a whole lot. I've got my dreams. I've got my dream partner. I've got my dream house. Like, I've got, my streaming is like consistent and it's good enough. It's like fine. People still show up, and like things like that it's very dangerous. So I think really I just have to work on that. And, maybe someone out there can relate to that. I want to say I hope so. I don't hope so, because I don't think it's a great thing. But maybe someone can. And if that's you, if you're hearing this and saying, wow, that's me, just know that you're not alone. And I'm working on it, and I hope you will too, because we should never stop. We should never lose that feeling, like we have when we're on the chase. Like, on the chase right now, I have so many feelings. Like, I just didn't have feelings for so long. I just felt like I was kind of like, not dead inside, but very just aloof, I guess, or, unmotivated. Is that the right way to say it? I'm not sure. I'm being very vulnerable here, so I hope you don't mind, but I guess really it's just keeping that chase feeling alive, like, in the sense that, you're always chasing something. You should always be chasing something in life. You never want to let yourself get too complacent. So I'm going to try to be better about that, and I'm going to try, assuming a lot of nice things happen for me in the future, I'm going to try to make sure that they don't make me stop wanting to give my all in everything, and keep on trying to improve and do new things and do better. That's my goal. And it's not easy. And you might be thinking, wow, that sounds incredibly hard, and I'm sure it will be hard. But I'm going to do my best, and I hope you will too. So thanks for the question, Kel. And it kind of inspired something interesting for me to talk about. Let's jump over to the next question. Wow, these questions are interesting. The question says, if Yasha and Jack, they said Jack. I assume that means Jack, because it says, if Yasha and Jack, your dog, are in a fire, who you saving first? Who's this question by? Does it even say? No, it's a mystery. If Yasha and Jax are in a fire, who are you saving first? Well, I don't want to disappoint anyone, but in the case of a fire, I would have to save the human being, my good friend Yasha, in that case. But with that being said, I mean, I love Jax to death. You should always, with exceptions, I guess like there's exceptions. This is a moral question. With very maybe possible exceptions, if they're a really horrible person, but if they're your friend, the friend should always be first over a pet. I'm sorry to say, Jax is my friend. He's all I've got, here every day by my side. But I would have to save Yasha first, but for me anyway, I would be saving both. You bet your ass. I don't give a crap if I'm putting my life on the line. I would be saving both. But yeah, you have to save the human first. So I would save Yasha first. So Yasha, if you're listening, congrats. I'm saving you first. But you bet your butt. Once you're out there, I am getting that Jax. We're getting Jax too, and everyone's going to be safe. So interesting moral dilemma question, but yeah, with possible exceptions, if they're like a rapist or a murderer or something, maybe you don't go for the human first. But anyone that's a friend of yours, you should always go for them first. I'm sorry, over a pet. I love Jax to death, but Yasha 1 would need to be saved first. So that is who I would save first. Pretty simple question. Any of you in the community, I would save you first over Jax, and that's not a shun to Jax, because I would definitely be doing everything in my power to ensure Jax was saved as well. But I would have to save the human first. It's just what you'd have to do. I'm sorry. That's how it be. Alrighty. Thanks for the question. Next question. Question for Rye. How did you and Tashi meet? From William J. Sinclair, Dragon. There's a lot of people named Dragon, so I'm not sure if I know what dragon it's from, but I will answer your question. So yeah, it's a pretty common knowledge. I think I talk about it. There's even a community fact for it in my community, and the answer to that is that we met in a Pokemon chat room on Steam back in the day, and chatted there, and found out we didn't live that far from each other, within a couple hours away, and then we got to meet in person, and then we lived together for 11 years and change. So just goes to show you. I mean, really, it's a good example for you kids out there of what an online interaction can do. What a very simple meeting that at the time, I promise you, seemed very, very, very insignificant. We didn't have like an instant sometimes you have that instant click with someone. We didn't have that like instant click. It seemed like I promise you, in my opinion, it was a very, in hindsight, obviously it was a really nice moment, but like at the time, I was just like, oh, they're pretty cool. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, they seem nice. Like, it seemed like any other meeting a friend online. I can certainly say that I have felt other stronger clicks in my life, like meeting someone for the first time or like talking to someone for the first time. That wasn't even the strongest click I've ever felt in my life. So I can say, and obviously it grew into the strongest relationship I've had in my life. So like, yeah, basically what I'm saying is, yeah, you never really know what a seemingly minor interaction in life where it might lead you in life. So I think it's just that's kind of a interesting point in the sense that like, yeah, it's kind of, I hope gives some people some excitement of knowing that like, yeah, anything could happen out there. You could meet someone tomorrow and you never know what could happen, whether or not you're besties from the very moment you meet, or, you're kind of just, oh, they're pretty cool. They're all right. Yeah, they're not bad. You never know where it'll take you in life. And I had a whole amazing 11 years, really around 11 years and 3 months living with Toshabi. And yeah, we had a lot of great times. So, for that, yeah, but it's crazy what a really an innocuous, online meeting where it can lead you in life. And, yeah, it definitely gives me excitement of like people I meet and all the memories I might make with people in the future. Whether that be friendship, romantic, or otherwise, it is exciting to imagine those possibilities and the fun things that can be done and the fun things that will hopefully, be there in the future. So it's very exciting, and I hope that excites someone, because I would have never expected it, and that's what happened. So hopefully everyone can keep some excitement, have that little spark of excitement in your life that you never know what the future could hold. It's a good way of looking at life. All right, next question. Have you ever tried on a fursuit? By Ross Coolcat. Yeah, I have actually. I have tried on. Let's see, how many fursuits have I worn? At least 3, maybe 4. I've worn a dragon, a kitty cat. It's like a saber tooth, I believe. Coyote. And I think those are the only 3. There's another one, but I'm not sure I actually tried it on, or if I wore it. I think I was going to, but maybe it didn't work out. I don't really remember, but I've definitely tried on at least 3. Oh, and I kind of tried on another friend's who's, I think I wore his Lynx head, if not full suit, at least the head. I've tried on a few. I have been around. My friends graciously have let me wear their suits before. And, yeah, no, I love it. And, eventually, 2025 will hopefully be the year that I get a fursuit. So, exciting times to come. I think I'm a pretty okay fursuiter. I have good stamina. and I have I have good stamina. That's it. I've got good stamina, and I have good energy. So I can rock it. I can rock it. So I will do well with my own suit and my own full-time, not full-time obviously, but you know what I mean, like my own full dedicated to me suit. Like, it's my suit and I'm going to be wearing it. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that day. I hope you guys will too. You can look at my cool fursuit content and stuff. 2025 is, for me anyway, I'm trying to make it a big year. I'm trying to do some things, and hopefully I'll be able to work out some things with some friends to go to some cool cons and different places, different events. That is my hope. So I hope that I will the friends will be able to me and friends will be able to coordinate some fun times together. That is my goal for 2025. That to do a lot of cool stuff, which definitely includes a lot of fursuiting probably. So, yep, there's going to be some good times. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. But yes, I have worn some fursuits in my life. I've worn a pretty good handful, and more to come. More to come. So, if that excites you, then I'm glad, because yep, it's gonna be a good year. 2025 will be a good year. I guarantee that. All right, so I'm going to leave the questions for now. There's still a few more, but I want to save some for, we're not going to do them all right now. I am going to split this up. I'm going to do like half of it now and half later. I think for me, basically, it's nice to be able to split it up. If I do it all in one sitting, it's kind of like having another stream, and I find that kind of challenging to slot in that much time. So for me, it's nice to be able to kind of split it up. So yeah, that's my plan, is I'm going to split it up. But we'll talk a little bit more right now, even though I'm not going to get into any more of those questions. We're going to, like I said, we're going to save those. But yeah, so I wrote down some notes, and here's a few notes that I took, and the first one, I'm just gonna. Some of these I kind of covered in the first podcast, so I won't go into them as deep. Some of these, we have more to talk about, so I'll cover a couple points here, and yeah, then we'll come back for part two. Some other time. You don't know when. It's all you're gonna see it all at once. But so basically, my first note is about compliments and how things that you say can stick with people, and we've talked a lot about that. So I'm not gonna really get too deep into this topic, but just I guess just be mindful, because you never really know when you say something like simple, maybe it doesn't seem like that nice of a thing to say, or it just seems like, oh, I'm just gonna like say this in passing. But like, do know that your words have a lot of power, and saying something nice about someone can stick with them for a long, long time. So that's why I always tend to kind of I tend to lean into just saying what's on my mind about people I care about. Like, if I want to say something nice, I say something nice, because basically it's like something small that you say can have such a big impact and can stick with someone for so long. I just kind of want to encourage you guys to we talked a lot about this, just appreciate those that you care about. If you have something nice to say about someone, like this really, something you like about them, or something that you like that they did, or whatever, like, it's just really important, I think, to let those know around you, because you don't know if you'll have the chance. And that's definitely something I fear. King and I talked about that in episode 1, but like, definitely the idea that like even for me, and I'm not perfect, and I give advice, but like, I don't always follow my own advice, and life is still scary, right? Like, sometimes I talk about this stuff and you guys might be thinking like, oh yeah, it's just so easy for Raichu. It's not easy for me either. And like, there's definitely things I want to tell people. And it definitely scares the crap out of me. I almost feel like I should write like an online journal, so if like something happens to me, like, the people can know, because it is really scary. The thought of like, what if I freaking drop dead tomorrow, and then they never get to know like what a difference they made in my life. You know what I mean? Like that for me is like the scariest thing. And I do a pretty good job, patting myself on the back. I think I do a pretty good job of telling those around me how I feel. And like, if you're important to me, it. I hope. But like, there's still a limit, and I get scared too. And it's natural to be like afraid of like how you're going to be seen for saying something to someone, if they'll think you're weird, or if they'll think like that's creepy that he said this about me, or like whatever. So definitely, I talked about that before, but I guess just hitting home that point again, like it's okay to be scared, and it is scary, and you're being vulnerable when you say anything nice about anyone. You're being vulnerable, and it's really scary, but it is such an important thing to hear. I can't tell you how many people have changed my life just from saying nice things to me, and how those words have resonated with me through dark times. And remembering those words sometimes is the only thing that like, that'll put a smile on my face for like the entire day, just like thinking of that, and then, having that smile. So it's really important. You can make such a big difference. And if you really like care about someone, like it's again, it's not easy, but it's a goal worth working toward, to be able to be open with them, about how you feel, and like what you like about them, what they do that helps you. Like, like, hey, like you really helped me out at this time just by being yourself, or, hey, you really inspired me by doing this, or anything, dude. Like just try to be vulnerable. And it can be scary, especially with people you don't know well, or if you're not really sure, or if you, if there's someone you don't know super well yet, but you like, I don't know. It's just like, at the end of the day, just try to be vulnerable. Like I said it 1,000 times, because I really want to emphasize it's not easy, but be vulnerable, and you can really change someone's life. And, another note that I put down here is about how two people who are open with each other up front, and like vulnerable with each other up front, can really form a good bond. And I've definitely experienced that in my life. Like it's a powerful thing, and it can really help you kind of, catapult a friendship, to a move, like, I don't know, make a friendship stronger. Even if it's not as like much of a long-term friendship, you can have a shorter-term friendship where you're both very open and vulnerable with each other in that sense, and you compliment them and they compliment you, and it's like it helps you bond, because being vulnerable with someone else, when you're both vulnerable together, it makes all the difference. Because if it's just you being vulnerable, it can be very awkward very quick. Like if you're being vulnerable with someone, and you're like telling them what you like about them, and they're just like, oh, thanks. Like, and so you're just being vulnerable, then I don't feel like the friendship progresses as much, versus a time like it's kind of like the same idea of like, a similar, I guess, idea of like being vulnerable, in the sense like, if I tell someone like, I have these insecurities, or I'm struggling in this area, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're being vulnerable with them. And if they just say like, yeah, well, that sucks, that must be hard, or something like that, you don't bond as much. But when you really bond is like when you're both vulnerable together. Like, I can give a fun kind of example, as a silly, like, little example, I guess. But for example, King and I bonded over the fact that we both get anxious when people are coming to our house, and if that feeling of like, oh God, if everything's not perfect, they're gonna hate us. And so we were both vulnerable with each other, in the sense that we're just like, yeah, damn, we both have this very silly fear that's really not justified. Like, yeah, your friends aren't gonna care if like the house is perfectly spotlessly clean, like they're just there to hang out with you. But we kind of bonded over something silly, like being vulnerable about something rather silly, but like something that does affect us. I know it affects me for sure. So I don't know. Sorry, King, if you're watching and I doxed your secret, but it's good. It's good to be vulnerable. It is what it is. Like that, I definitely struggle. That's something I struggle with. And being vulnerable it's hard, but it can really also help your friendships grow, and kind of reach new levels when you're able to be vulnerable with someone, because when you're vulnerable with someone and they're vulnerable with you, when it's all out on the table, I think that's the strongest bond, because, you know, like in life, usually it's the closest people in your life that you're the most vulnerable with, generally, right? Like you like maybe your spouse or your best friend, people like that. Like, so when you're truly vulnerable with someone, it does, like, when you're vulnerable together, it really does grow that to a new level where it's kind of like the upper. There's a very, very, very few people like in my life that I can truly be vulnerable with and will be vulnerable with me. So I think it's a cool thing, and I think it's important. So try to be vulnerable if you can. Sometimes you might have to open it up. There's been people, I don't know if I can use this other example. There was someone that I was vulnerable with recently that I've never been vulnerable with before, but it helped them to open up to be vulnerable with me and taught me things about them that I wouldn't have known had I not been vulnerable with them. So it kind of helped strengthen a bond there because I was able to be vulnerable. They knew that they could be vulnerable with me. And so we were vulnerable together, and we just kind of both felt sad and like this is kind of a dark, but like we felt sad and like broken together. And like that's, you know, no one wants to feel sad and broken, but I can tell you feeling sad and broken with someone that you care about is a lot better than feeling sad and broken on your own. So that's kind of the importance of vulnerability and being vulnerable. So not only can you help someone else by being vulnerable, but you help yourself, and you help them, you help yourself, and you help your own friendship or bond, or, you know, it could even be like a relationship, but like you help your own connection, you help the connection between the two of you, and you help each other individually. So it's really, really, really incredibly powerful. And yeah, I guess that just, you know, be vulnerable, try it. I encourage it highly. When people are vulnerable with me, I know for a fact, like, I feel way more likely to be able to be vulnerable with them. And, you know, not everyone in your life is going to want to be vulnerable with you. Sometimes maybe they won't, but like, there's really no, you know, if they're a good friend of yours, be vulnerable with them. Like just try it. Even if it's someone that's not a good friend of yours and it's just someone that maybe is a newer friend, but you're feeling a good connection with, try it, because it can propel that friendship to new levels. And it's scary, but it's such a good, like, really life-changing experience to truly be vulnerable with someone. I can say those are the relationships and friendships in my life that have mattered the most, the ones that I can truly be vulnerable with them in. It is such a powerful tool. And for me, it's like unlocking a new level of friendship when you can truly be vulnerable with someone, whether that be something positive, like, hey, like, I just really, really like you really motivate me. You would really inspire me because of these reasons. And like, you're just such an important part of my life, and I really appreciate having you here. Something positive like that. And then they come back, they tell you what they like about you, and, you know, it's a nice bond, blah, blah. Either that or something negative. Like, yeah, I'm really struggling with this. Oh, I struggle with that too. Here's my example. Like just having that vulnerability, positive or negative, can really, really do a lot for a friendship. So I encourage you to try it. I really do. I'm a big believer in it. And, you know, many people watching here may be aware. You know, maybe you'll say, right, she's been vulnerable with me. Yeah, I relate to that. Or, you know, but yeah, I encourage it. I think it's really important, and I hope you'll give it a try. If you're someone who's not vulnerable very often, it can be powerful. Even like I said, positive or negative. If you have good feelings and you just want to kind of scream to that person, like, hey, you really inspire me, or you're so amazing in my life. You always, like, you really make my life better. Or if it's something negative, like, hey, I've been really struggling with this, like, you know, like, do you, like, I just want to be open with you because I care about you. I've definitely been trying to get better at that too. Is like, hey, you're someone that really, really matters to me. So I just want to be honest and open with you about this thing that is hurting me. I've actually done that a fair share, and I'm quite certain a few people from the podcast that are listening or maybe listening will say, yeah, I remember when Raichu said that to me. So yeah, it's just very important. And yeah, I hope that you understand that, and I hope that makes sense to you. I think another quick thing. I really only have one more point I think I want to make in today's episode, and it's kind of, we talked about it a bit in the last episode about just like, I guess just, not all friendships are the same. And I guess just about friendships in general and how friendships can kind of like fade, but then also, they can come, they can fade, and then they can kind of come back and shine again. It's not everyone in your life. Yeah, there's a lot of different options, like sometimes there's friends that come into your life and they never leave your side, and they are there by your side forever. And, that's a great feeling. Those ones are, if we're being honest, those are probably the most important and the most valuable ones. The ones that come into your life, they immediately come into your life. They're a force in your life, and they never, ever stop being a force in your life. Like, that is the ideal friendship, in my opinion. There's some that come into your life, they're a big force, and then they fade away, and they end up going away, and maybe you have no contact with them whatsoever. And those ones, they can hurt a lot, especially when it's not even limited contact. Sometimes they go to no contact. It ends up all the way to nothingness, from everything to nothingness. And, those are the ones that can hurt. But sometimes you have these friendships that, they can kind of be really strong, and then they can fade, and then they can come back really strong. And, maybe they go away for a bit, then they come back again strong. And those are important. Those are really important in your life because, again, we talked about it last episode, but no one has time. We talk about that friend that comes into your life, is by your side from the very, from the beginning. They come into your life. They're a huge force in your life immediately. They're amazing, incredible. You bond with them so well, and they're such an important part of your life. You talk every day. You hang out all the time. They're like a vital part of your life. And you spend your weekends with them, all this stuff. Like they're like a for lack of a better way to put it, they're an S tier friend. They're super important in your life. But no one has time. If everyone in our lives were on that level, you wouldn't have time for everyone. There's just not enough time in the day to spend with that many people. So all kinds of friendships are important, and so that's kind of where the importance of these ones that kind of come and go. They sometimes in your life, when you need someone really in your life, they are by your side 100%. And then, things are going well for you and things are going well for them, and they kind of fade into the background. And that's okay, because you're both still thinking about each other, and maybe not every day, but you still think about each other from time to time, and like they are in your corner, and if the day came where you needed them, you could reach out. And then maybe they come back into your life, and then you're just like besties again, or you're like really close friends. When you need someone, they're there. I'm going to use an example, and I won't name their name, but I have a friend. We've been friends for nearly a decade now, and there have been times in my life where they have been like a top. We're not. This isn't MySpace days, okay? For you kids out there, in MySpace there was a feature where you could rank your friends on a top 8. So basically, on your MySpace page, you would rank them. You would put them on a list, and then everyone would go in and be like, "Oh crap! Like, am I on Chili Mex's top 8? Like, what spot am I?" And it was like a whole thing, right? So I was gonna say, just like this friend of mine, like he's easily been a top 5 friend in my life, where he's like the person I talk to all the time. We hang out every weekend, like a very, very important person. And we've also been very far apart in terms of like how often we talk or how often we hang out. And in those almost decade now, like there's been multiple times, when we first met, a while after that, we were super close. I'm pretty confident saying we talked every day for sure. We would hang out and we would chat. We were thick as thieves, and he would have been one of my ride or dies. And then for a while we faded out and we didn't talk all that much. Hardly at all. We would just on occasion see each other, and we knew each other. We were in each other's corner, but like we weren't there. Like we couldn't see each other, but we knew we were there. You know what I mean? And then during the pandemic, for a couple years during the pandemic, I'd say probably from 2020 to 2022, we were ride or dies. And, for not trying to dox him, but like he was one of the people I most wanted to come to my wedding when I got married in 2022. and he didn't get to come, and it was like one of the big things that really broke my heart because he was someone I really really wanted to meet in person for the first time, and yeah, we were thick as thieves again during that time period. We were thick as thieves, and it felt so good, and it was just amazing. And then then kind of after that 2022 time frame, we kind of faded again. We faded again, and I thought about him all the time. You'd see him around. I would think about him, and I think and hope that he thought about me as well. And but we were just kind of apart there, but we couldn't see each other. And like like we talked recently because I won't say what it was, but something made me think of him. So I went and sent him a message, and I was like, "Hey, this made me think of you. I really liked this thing, blah blah blah, whatever." I wrote a little essay about like what I liked, and then he responded back, and then we talked, and it's so weird how that works, right? But someone you haven't talked to in a long time, it feels like you never. And I'm not talking a long time, like a month. I'm talking like many months, or probably like a year plus or longer. I don't even know how long. A long time. And it's weird how it feels like no time has passed. And it's like, he really was there the whole time. And, it's like a funny thing, but he was like, yeah, if you ever want to come visit out here, like you're always welcome. Just so you know, you're still always welcome. And if you end up coming out this way, like you're more than welcome to stay here with us. And I guess that just kind of reaffirmed what I had already believed. Had the belief that like, it's okay. You could have those people that come into your life, and they're kind of come and go. They are your ride or dies, but they're more flexible ride or dies. You have the ride or dies that are going to be by your side, and you're going to be spending time with all the time, long term, like always. You know what I mean? Like they won't ever fade away. They'll always be that staple in your life. The ride or it's kind of like, it's like if we're comparing it to like a role in like a MOBA or like a Overwatch or something. It's like they're like the carry, like they're carrying your life, like they're playing carry, and that's what they're good at. That's what they know how to do. They're playing carry. They're gonna carry you through life. They're gonna like they're an essential part of your life. But that other friend who comes and goes and kind of comes and goes is playing the fill role. If you need a carry, they will absolutely play carry. If you need a healer because you're like feeling bad and you just need someone, they'll be there. You need a tank because you need something else, like they'll be there. They're kind of filling all the roles. And if you need nothing, they're not doing any of it for themselves. They're really being the most selfless in the sense that they're whatever you need, I'm here, but I'm not gonna force force what I want to be on you. I'm gonna be here to fill what you need. So in a way, I'm not selling that ride or die short, because for me, I guess the number of ride or dies I've had in my life has been kind of limited. So for me, I think the ride or die that will be by your side through thick and thin always without ever fading away, I think that's really, really important. And I think it's really appealing and a friend for me to have a ride or die that like is going to be by my side long term and won't ever be gone long term. We'll be there. That we're never going to go 8 months without talking, 10 months, or anything like that. So I'm not undervaluing the ride or die, because that's probably the best type of friend for me that works the best for me. But the fill friend, the fill friend like that can be there when you need them and not be there when maybe you don't necessarily need them as much. Life's going good. You're okay. Like they're there, but they're not in your face there. I think that's really valuable. And I think a lot of people don't give those types of people credit. I definitely have a good amount of people in that role in my life. Those kind of fill friends, like they're there. And I guarantee, we talked on Telegram, like that was great. But I know those fill friends, when I see them in person again, or when I, at a con, or when we do interact again, those are the ones where it's like they are just as happy as the ride or die that sees you every day. They are just as happy to have that opportunity to be by my side whenever that may be. So I think that's just really cool. And yeah, I guess that's kind of one thing I kind of look forward to is reconnecting with that old friend. Is like I'm hopeful that if I get married again someday, he will be able to be there, and that gives me some level of peace of mind there as well, I guess. So I don't know, just some interesting thoughts I had. But yeah, basically, your ride or dies are so important, and I would love to have more ride or dies in my life. But those friends who come and go and come again and leave and come and they're always there in some form. Those are super valuable, and I don't want to sell them short. It can feel bad sometimes, like when when you're in the on period and then you switch to the off period, kind of. It can feel bad, like you've lost a friend, but it's important to realize that that they're not gone. They're there. And if you need them, they are there. Just because they're not in your DMs every day, they're not hanging out on your streams every day, you're not talking on Discord on the weekends, like on calls, you're not playing video games together, you're not doing everything together with them. Just because all that's not happening does not mean that they're not willing to step up when you need them. It's like that song, Lean on Me, when you're not strong, I'll be your friend, etc., etc. So like, I know I have people in my life that if I needed to lean on them, even though we don't talk all that often at all, if for some reason I needed them as well, in addition to my ride or dies, I know there's other people that I could lean on in those times. So I think I just want to give a shout out if any of those kind of the people might be ever listening to this podcast. I'm not sure if they will, but if they will, then hi, you're still important in my life, and I look forward to the next time we may talk, whenever that may be. And you're important to me. It's easy to sell yourself short, like they don't talk to me all that often, so they must not like me that much, or we don't talk all that often, so we must not have a very good bond. You can't have a good bond. You can have a good bond, and again, it's not selling short, because those people that I talk to every day, incredible bond, incredibly strong, and it's so important and valuable. But don't sell those ones short maybe they're in your corner. They're in your corner, but you can't always see them, but they're always there. So shout out to those people as well, because they don't get appreciated as much. It's easy to get appreciated when you talk to someone every day, especially when you talk to the Raichu every day. You're gonna be feeling that appreciation plenty. But those people who are not around as much might not feel that appreciation as much. So in case you're ever listening, anyone, I appreciate you. Thanks for being in my corner. Cherish me and I'll cherish you. I learned that quote in our first podcast. Yeah, that's a good quote. I like the quote. So anyway, for this first half of this podcast, I think I'm going to call it there. We'll answer a few more questions. We'll have a few more chats to round out the second half of the podcast. But thank you for listening to this first half. Like I said, everything will be spliced, so it'll look exactly the same for you. So you won't even really know that there's a break. But if you're going to go maybe you want to grab a snack or a drink or something, now would be a decent time to pause, because I'm going to hit the end button and then we're going to go into part 2. So thanks for watching the first half. I will see you in part 2 in like a millisecond, because I'm going to snap my fingers and it's going to be a new part. So love you guys. Thank you so much. My friends, we are back once again. Hello. I mean, you're still watching this. You're still watching this on the same video that you were. But for me, it's a new day. It's a new time. I kind of like the idea of splitting up the talking, because oftentimes, here's the thing for me, right? I have a lot to say. There's a lot on my mind at any given moment of any given day, and I always have a whole lot to say and a whole lot on my mind. So I find when I split them up, my brain works better, because after that episode, I thought of like 1,000 things I wanted to say, right? So I took some notes, and I came back stronger than ever. So if I film it all in one go, then I just I forget things that I want to say, and it's not ideal. So for me, splitting it up is great, because then I can review. My brain can do its review, and there's always a lot to say. But Yeah, we're back in my little void world. I might make an official podcast world screen at some point. In fact, I'm positive I will. But I don't know. This week is just I don't know. It's kind of like a melancholic feeling week, and like melancholy is such a dramatic way to say kind of sad, kind of like low energy, kind of just not feeling it kind of vibes. But like it's interesting, right? I love that word. I remember the first time I ever heard the word melancholy or melancholic. I was like, now that's a word I gotta use because it's a beautiful word to describe something as simple as just feeling a little sad. So, yeah. Anyway, we got some new questions. We got through 6. We have another 6 to go, and I have some other topics I wrote down. So, without further ado, I will get into the questions. And I did actually look at them, so I'm gonna reorder them a little bit because otherwise we would be ending the podcast on a rather a little bit, maybe a bit too lighthearted of a question. So I want to position it well. So I think this is going to be the optimal positioning. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first question we have today is from the one and only Anthan, who asked some great questions on the previous podcast as well. Anthan's question is: we often joke about you normies, but what are you appreciative about the non-furry supporters you might have had, like family, friends, coworkers, etc.? First off, Anthan, you always ask questions very eloquently. That's an eloquent way of asking that question. So I just want to give you credit for that. So what do I appreciate about normies? I don't know. It just kind of hits. It hits a little different. Just kind of getting appreciation or like or talking to those people. Like I can say, in general, I don't have a whole ton of normie friends. Like it's not, the vast majority are furries, but there are some important normies in my life. And I can even say my family, but like my brother's a furry, so he hardly counts. But like Toshabi's older brother, who's probably if I needed a number one go-to person in life, he is probably it. And I don't know. It's not something I think about often, but saying that, it does feel right. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I had to choose one person in the world to be my go-to that I know for a fact I could count on, I think it would be him. And yeah, he's a normie, not a furry at all, but I can absolutely talk to him about anything. I can talk to him about furry cons. He's always shown interest in like like furry stuff, is at least as far as like, oh, you're going to a con? Like, that's cool. Like, tell me about it and stuff. And he's just very supportive in that regard. If there's a boy I'm crushing on or something, I can talk to him about it. Like, there's no tabooness there. I can say like, oh, this boy I'm crushing on, he's like this species, and like, you look at, here's some art and stuff. Like, I can do silly little things like that, and it really does just like hit different, like as far as like a normie versus a furry, you know what I mean? Because like your furry friends, yeah, you can obviously, it's very extremely normalized to go up to them and be like, OMG, there's this cute boy, and oh my god, oh my god, mad. But like, to be able to do that with a normie, it does kind of hit different in a good way. So I definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate, I think the thing you have to appreciate there is that they're willing to show interest in something that they have nothing, they're not necessarily, I don't want to say that they're not interested in, but it's not a big part of their life like it is. I mean, it's a massive part of my life. And it's basically no part of his life, but he's willing to listen and hear me talk about, furry stuff, furry friends, furry crushes, furry whatever it may be. And I think that's really cool. And so that just kind of hits a little different. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question, Nathan. I think just appreciating them for the fact that it's not an interest of theirs, but they're willing to listen and ask questions and be supportive. Like if I go up to him and I go, yo, there's this boy I like, he's a, whatever species of, here's his persona. He'd be like, yo, that's freaking cool. Like, that's awesome. Like, tell me more. So I think in general, even beyond furriness, I think just like the straightness as well. Like, I don't want to say that's like comparable to like normie, but kind of is like, right? Like the normal thing of being straight versus like me being gay. I can still gush to him about boys and fur sonas and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. He's watched some of my content before, not live on my stream. One time he was like, "Oh, how come you don't share your stream with me?" And I'm like, "I literally have shown you VODs from my stream before, so maybe someday he'll be there. I don't know. Who knows?" But yeah, no, I think that's, for me, it's nice to have people to confide in that are outside of the space, because sure, I can go up to my furry friends and say, "Hey, there's this cute boy," and they get it because that's, they relate. But I think it's cool for someone who doesn't necessarily relate to be able to ask questions and kind of vibe with you, even though they don't necessarily relate to what you're saying. So I think that's pretty cool. I hope that answered the question well, Ethan. I'm gonna have a little sip of my coffee here. All right. Question number 8. Question number 8 says, what is your advice to a non-furry who seems interested in joining the furry community but still have doubts about it? I mean, I think in general, just do it, dude. Like, if you think you're interested, you're probably interested. And, I took my sweet time for sure. I thought furries were cool, but I was a little scared. And just do it, dude. Like, it is such a life changer to just be able to be openly I've got normie friends. We're not open like I am with my furry friends. It's just as far as like being affectionate, being loving, like supporting each other. Like, I have never had a normie. Well, I don't know if that's fair, but the percentage of normie friends I've had who are as supportive of my furry friends is extremely low. I have had some good supportive normie friends in my life, so I don't want to rule them all out. But I'll say the percentage of like close friends in the furry fandom, like any of them would ride, or I mean, I hope would like support me in whatever I did. It's like whatever goals or dreams I was working toward. Versus, normies oftentimes can be a little more judgmental, or non-furries, whatever you want to call them, can be a little more judgmental. So I think, just for me anyway, the percentage of furry friends who will support you through anything is just higher. And so if that sounds like something, I mean, if you're like, I'm an emotional, affectionate kind of guy, it was the perfect place for me. Like, I fit right in, and I needed a place where I could just go and get a hug and say, hey, I'm glad you're here with me right now, stuff like that. I don't know. It's just things you can't oftentimes say to normies or non-furries. You can be a little more open. And I try to be very open. Those people that are close in my life, I think they have a good feeling for where they stand with me. I'm very, very open about my affection towards certain people in my life, the people that are close to me. And I think that's really cool that I can be open. And I think it's cool that they can feel that appreciation, because like oftentimes you don't feel it as much with people who are a little more shut off, or a little more, like they're not as affectionate or whatever. So I think being able to feel that, it's a cool thing. It is a really cool thing, and it's nice for people to be able to feel appreciated, because life's hard and you need to feel appreciated. Like, for real, like it is such a like feeling appreciation. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a self-confident guy, but like oftentimes, especially in weeks like this where you're feeling a little kind of melancholic, like getting affection and support from your friends is what can keep you going in those tough weeks. So it's like, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. So yeah, basically my point would be, if you think you're interested, give it a shot. I mean, you're not signing your life away to a contract. Try it. There's very little to lose and a whole massive amount to gain. So just try. Thanks, Nathan, for the question. I appreciate it. All right, question number 9. We've got a lighthearted question here, and this is a question where it doesn't have a name, but I'm a very insightful kind of guy. So I'm gonna use my perceptive is what I actually meant to say. I'm a perceptive type of guy, and my perception says, the question is top 5 tails in the community. So for those of you who don't know, We have one very strong advocate for tails in our community, and his name is Raichu. Just kidding, it's Chili Max. So if I had to guess, this question is from Chili Max, but I don't know. So let me tell you what kind of tails I like, and I'm gonna go down the list in my server, since it says in the community, so I'm gonna limit it to people in the community. So the tails I like generally are soft. I'm not a big, some people like thick, like scaly dragon tails, that are kind of like slippery and stuff. I'm a fan of soft tails, and in general, I prefer big tails. Like I like the utility, the idea of being able to cuddle up to them and being able to like use it as a pillow, use it for other things possibly. Hey, we're on the podcast. You can use it for potentially. Let's see. How do I phrase this gracefully? Potentially, not safe for work things. You can utilize it for that too. So there's a lot of options. You know what I mean? So I like those kind of tails. And Chili Max, you yourself, I would have to put you in the top 5. I think your tail is excellent. Mine, I don't know about it. It's probably it's somewhere here. I'm gonna wag it right now. It's somewhere in the mid tier. I don't know if I'd put it in the top 5, but yours is great. If I scroll down the list, big fluffy kind of tails, and the thing is, right, like I don't dislike small tails. Like I think like nub tails, like deer, like those are super cute. But definitely my preference for utility's sake alone is like bigger, longer, kind of massive, fluffy type tails, So I'm just kind of scrolling through my my list here, and to be honest, it's hard because there's a lot of people in here, and no one is jumping out at me. But here's what we'll say, Chili Max. Tails that I like, yours. Fox tails are great. I think dog tails can be excellent depending on what kind of dog it is. But like all kinds of feline, canine tails can be nice and long and fluffy like that. Fox tails, obviously, I said it. Red pandas have very, very large tails in relation to their body, so I assume that might scale up with like fursona red pandas, and then it would be also like a nice big comfy tail. There's like I think those are all the big ones, like canines, felines, foxes, red pandas are good. Raccoons have pretty good tails, generally speaking, I think. So I'm just kind of going down and I'm looking. You said you. I'll be honest. Top 5 tails in the community is a hard one. So I'm going to go look at some art and I'm going to see what inspires me, because the icons don't do a lot of justice. And, so I will say I'm looking at tails, and, another challenge is tails can be depicted a lot of different ways. But here, we're gonna go with this, and I'm gonna commit. What I'm looking at right now is the vaRAIety folder. The vaRAIety folder. And I'm gonna say, here's my choices. And I'm not fully all, in fact, I think we'll give it 6, because I see 6 that look pretty appealing to me in these photos. So I'm gonna name them. Are you ready? Set, go. Aaron G, Ara, Chili Max, Kato, King Panda, and Lava Stan. Those are the 6 that jump out at me. Looking at this, I have a very large folder of the Raichu Ravine, people in the Raichu hoodie. So it's decent, some decent options for choosing there. And those are the 6. And if you need me to narrow it down to 5, let me know. Because I was thinking about which of those I would have eliminated if I had to choose 5. But I decided that I was going to break a rule and I was just going to go for 6. So I went for 6 because I felt like it. So, you know how it be. That's how it be. So I hope that's okay, Chili Mex. I hope you don't hate me for choosing 6 instead of 5. I hope you'll forgive me. If not, you can block me, delete me, ban me from your live stream, everything you want to do like that. So no problem. If you need to do that, you just let me know. But I hope that helped. I hope that was a decent answer to your question. I like all those kinds of tales, but in our community, those 6 jumped out at me. I like utility with tails. Big fluffy, big fluffy, able to be utilized for things as needed. So yeah, I hope that was good. Chili Max. Alrighty. So question number 10, we're skipping. It's also from Chili Mex. We're going to come back to it because I feel like it's a better kind of end topic closer. I'm going to readjust myself here. You didn't have to hear that, but I'm telling you anyway because I'm a gentleman. So here we go. Next question. Game Orca asks, Game Orca just really likes to hear me hate things. Game Orca wants to hear me hate. He is striving in his life. He's like, Raichu's too positive. I don't like this guy. I'm gonna make him hate things. Game Orca says, who are your top 3 least favorite Pokemon? Which is a hard question because there's a lot. There's a lot of Pokemon. So I'll say what jumps to mind. The ice cream Pokemon, which if we have to choose one because there's like multiple evolutions, we'll say Vanillux. The Garbodor, and let's think. And I'll say, oh man, what is that one? There's that one that people always make me. I don't remember the name. There's one that people always make me do his cry. Like people, that I have the Redeem, the Pokemon make a Pokemon noise. People always have me. Guzzlord, there it is. I choose him because I hate doing his Pokemon cry. So he has hatred with me. For that reason, he has earned the hatred because you guys make me do his voice. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to hate Game Orca. I'm sorry, but I guess that would be who I hate. Probably more, but there's the list is there's a long list. So there's a lot of Pokemon. And we gotta work hard to go through that list. But yeah, thank you for the question. All right, question 12. The question says, from Game Orca, death battle, Grace Saunders versus Freddy Fazbear. Who would win? Okay, so this is a good question. So my initial instinct is Freddy, but I'm not an expert enough on the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Like, I have watched a lot of them be played. I even played a little bit myself, but I'm far from an expert, like very far from an expert. So I would say, being uncertain of Freddy's capabilities completely, I'd still choose Freddy over the little girl. Grace is great, but it's kind of like, again, we're using the Home Alone reference. Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, like, destroyed the burglars in that movie, but the burglars were dumbasses pretty much. Okay. So I'm just saying Grace Saunders destroyed the dumbasses in Alone in the Dark 2. But how would she fare against someone competent like Freddy? I mean, I think Freddy's pretty competent. So how would she fare against someone pretty competent? I don't know. I don't think I can give her the benefit of the doubt. Would Freddy Fazbear slip over some ice and kill himself? Would he step on molasses and be stuck? I don't know. I don't think so. So that's why my instinct is to go with Freddy. But maybe Grace. It depends too, because maybe like by the time Freddy, like Five Nights at Freddy's came out, Grace would be like an adult. So how about like adult Grace? Maybe she is just like a mastermind of like being smart. That's the other thing, right? It's like you guys didn't think I would think about that, right? But like Grace was like, she was like 4 years old. I think when the game was shot in 1993. So she was born in 1989. That means like, I don't remember what year Five Nights at Freddy's came out, but she was at least like 20 years old plus by the time Five Nights at Freddy's came out. Although I don't know if Five Nights at Freddy's takes place, what year it takes place. So maybe she wasn't that old yet. but you'll have to tell me when it took place so we can know how old Grace would be. But regardless of the answer, my gut instinct is to go with Freddie. But Grace might have a chance depending on when it takes place, how old she is at the time. Maybe she'll surprise you. I don't know. Who knows? But thank you for the question, Game Orca. All right, we're going to get back to the serious question. I'm going to hit stop recording for a quick moment, and then we are going to get back with the last question as well as some other topics I wanted to discuss. Be right back with you. All right, so here we are with the last question on the list, and then I will most likely have a few other topics we can discuss, but I think this is a good question that we can sink our teeth into real good. We can gnaw on the question, like nom 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 nom, delicious question, delectable question. All right, so what we have here is the question says potentially heavy question, so feel free to skip. Screw you, Chili Max. The question is by Chili Max, by the way. We're not skipping it. We're diving in. There's no topic too deep for the vaRAIety podcast. So here we go. How do you deal with the passage of time and avoid feeling like it's too late to do anything, specifically when comparing yourself to others, especially if they're younger than you? And by anything, I mean both simple things like a new hobby and also bigger, life-changing steps in your life. Okay, so I think this is a very, very valid question, and I think it's something that probably a lot of people struggle with, comparing themselves to others. And I can definitely relate to you in the seeing people younger than you doing really crazy things. Chili Mex, it can be a little disheartening, but I think realistically, it's always going to be a struggle to some extent, because you will sometimes see someone with something that you want, whether or not they're younger than you, that's besides the point. Oftentimes, in the furry fandom, you don't really even know. You see a post on Twitter and you're like, damn, that's crazy they're doing that, and you don't really know how old they are, et cetera, whatever. But yeah, so basically, I think, well, first off, it's never too late to do anything. As long as you are alive and above ground, you can still do things. As long as you as long as you wake up, you have the power to achieve something that day and do something great. So that's kind of step one, right? And that's kind of what I look at for myself. Like oftentimes, I won't even say sometimes. Sometimes is probably a stretch. I'm very open that it's been a tough year for me, and so for me, I can say oftentimes I wake up and feel like crap, and I'm just like, damn, today's gonna be bad. But you know what? You wake up, you feel like that. It's not great, you got to go to work, stuff, yuck, right? But it's not, the day, until the day is over, the day's not over. So you can still achieve something. And so I think if there's something you want to achieve, well, let's kind of break it down. This is a hard question in the sense that it's a lot of different questions. It's phrased in the sense of one question, kind of, but it's really so many questions. So how do you deal with the passage of time? So time is always going to be scary, right? And it's always really easy to look at yourself and go like, crap, next year I'm going to be, or like in a few months. For me, I mean, my half birthday just passed, so I'm halfway through, and before I know it, it'll be my birthday again. So, basically, how do you deal with the passage of time? There's not really a great answer. You just kind of, it's inevitable. So certain things in life are inevitable and certain things are not inevitable. So most things in your life are not inevitable. Like you waking up and choosing, hey, I'm going to achieve something today, or I'm going to accomplish something. I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to this person I've always wanted to. I'm going to go tell this person that I have a crush on them or something. Like all of those kinds of things, for example, are they're not inevitable. They only happen if you make them happen. So those things are things that are more, in my opinion, it's okay to worry about those things. They're stressful. Like, oh shit, like how are they going to react if I tell them I have a crush on them, or like, how is this person going to react if I DM them out of the blue and just say, hey, like, I just wanted to say hi, and it's nice seeing you in the vaRAIety stream, and if you ever want to talk or something, whatever it may be, like those kind of things are scary, and they're understandably scary. But like the passage of time, I mean, it's inevitable. We all get older, and the thing I always look to, if you want to look it up, there's a good song by my favorite. Really, my favorite. Yeah, really, we'll safely call him my favorite singer, Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20. But Rob Thomas did a single called I think the full name of the song is One Less Day, and then in parentheses, Dying Young. So if you Google it, day, yeah, okay, yep, yeah. So basically, the chorus, or the point of this song is I'm not afraid of getting older. I'm one less day from dying young. And the idea of that is like along in the path of our lives, right? Like, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. Thinking about people I've lost always gets me choked up. So I'm a little choked up. So forgive me. But basically, the idea of the song is like there's two options: you get older or you die. And it's kind of morbid, but those are the two options: you get older or you die. And I don't know about you, getting older does feel bad at times. I understand that, absolutely. But I want to live, and like life's not always easy. It's not always good. There's a lot of struggles. Like you guys are pretty well aware of my own struggles, like because I talk about it all the time. I'm pretty open about that it's been a tough year for me. But like I still want to be alive, and so I'm gonna get older. And with the moment I stop getting older means that I've stopped living. I'm dead. Like my friend who passed away that I talked about last podcast episode, but in general, he's the hydrate guy. When he goes gulp, gulp, gulp. My dear friend, Ricky, rest in peace. But yeah, he was around my age now when he passed away, because he was a few years older than me. Because we met when I worked at KFC way back in the day, and we were friends ever since. But yeah, he was a few years older than me, so I'm probably around his age now. And I'm sure I know young Ricky didn't like getting older and wanted to stay young forever, and he tried to live by the motto of like be young at heart, or like have a good attitude about it, I guess, or I don't know how to say it, but like basically just keep yourself young, just act young, stay young at heart, essentially. But yeah, like he unfortunately isn't with us, and I'm coming up on his age, and I think he's maybe like one more year from now is he was like, I think he was 5 years older, and he passed away 4 years ago. But so yeah, either way, anyway, I'm getting off topic, but yeah, I mean, we either get older or we die, and he unfortunately left us too soon. He didn't like getting old, but when I heard this song for the first time, again, the song is called One Less Day, Dying Young. When I heard this song for the first time, it really did resonate with me, because yeah, like it sucks, but like we keep going on. Those people we've lost, there's a song by Maroon 5, I'm sure a lot of people have heard, called Memories, and it's like, here's to the ones that we've got, cheers to the wish you were here but you're not. Like, yeah, like I'm really thankful for the people that are still here with me in this world, pressing on through all the hard times. But like, there's people that left us, and those people that have left us, like, you have to think about it like keep on keeping on for them as well. Sorry, I'm getting so choked up. Hold on, let me have a drink. Guys, I'm just a little sappy guy, okay? I'm sorry. We don't talk about serious things on stream, so you never had to hear me like this, but let me have a little sip. But yeah, I guess that's my motivation. Part of my motivation is like those people that don't have the gift of life, that aren't still with us. Like, I press on for them, because if they were still here, they would want me to keep going. And for the people that you have in your life, like I can say, Chili Mex, if you were not with us tomorrow, my life would be drastically different. And yeah, like I don't know. It's sad. Okay, I'm getting choked up again. But like my life would be drastically different if you weren't here tomorrow. So and I, you know, for better or for worse, sometimes you have to tell yourself, and it can be hard, but genuinely, do I think there would be people in my life that would be upset or it would affect their life greatly if I, passed away tomorrow? I do think that would be a thing. So I keep on going for those people, for the people that have left us, the people that are here that I know would be affected if I left, and for myself, because there's still a lot of good to do. We've all got a lot of good we can still do. So yeah, so that's how you deal with the passage of time, in my opinion, Chili Mex. That is how you that's how you kind of deal with that, and kind of accept it. You're either gone or you're still here getting older. But yeah, I guess that's that is what kind of what you have to do. It sucks. Getting older it is hard, but getting older doesn't stop you from doing things. I am in the best shape of my life right now, and way better than when I was like 20. And yeah, I'm in the best shape of my life. There's nothing stopping you from getting in better shape if you want to do that. There's nothing stopping you from learning a new skill. I'm learning music right now. I certainly tried to do that when I was a teenager and failed miserably. There's nothing stopping you from doing great things. Someday when I find love, there will be nothing stopping me from achieving that. Making new friends, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Getting older is hard, but there's nothing stopping you from accomplishing a lot of great things still. So I guess I guess that kind of pivoted into part 2, where it says avoiding like feeling like it's too late to do anything. Really, the only and Chili Mex, you're, I believe, 28 years old, if I recall. Right, you calculating 28 or 27? I don't know. Around that age. You're nowhere near the cutoff for anything. So, I mean, at some point, there is, you're not going to be like a professional athlete or something. So stuff like that, okay, you do have a limit because, like our bodies age. But like nothing's stopping you from being in good shape for the rest of your life. My grandpa passed away when he was 80. I think he was 84 or something, and he was in incredible shape. He went for jogs every single morning. He was in better shape then than I am now, and I'm in the best shape of my life. So there's nothing stopping you in really anything, and that's the most drastic thing that you lose as as you get older, is like your physical well-being. Everything else, there's nothing stopping you. You never have to go a day where you don't make new friends or meet someone new. I mean, obviously, there are limitations there. Like you probably won't meet someone new every day, but like you can make new friends all the time. Nothing stopping you. You can find love at any time. Nothing stopping you. You can take up a new hobby anytime. Nothing stopping you. If you don't like the shape you're in, you can start going to the gym like I know you're doing. You can do that at any time. There's really nothing stopping you from doing any of this at any time. And you are, Chili Mex, I know you think you're super old and stuff, but you are nowhere near even a borderline age where we could say, oh, he's getting pretty old to do these things. So you have time. And you do a lot of great things already. So just try it. And here's my thing is try to take inspiration from someone that you look up to, something that they do well, or like whatever that may be, whether it be a skill, like hey, let's say we're gonna pick on people. Hey, my name is Chili Mex, and I really like let's choose something. I like the way let's see, who should we choose? I'm gonna try to choose someone different so we don't pick on the same people. I like I like how, I don't know, let's just choose Floos, our lovely mod Floos Vap. I think it's cool that Floos is really good at baking and cooking and all that stuff. So I'm going to take some inspiration and I'm going to ask him for a good recipe that would be a nice beginner recipe for me. And I'm going to try that. That's a great example. Take inspiration from, if there's something you want to do, take inspiration from people around you. Like, I want to be a nicer person. Well, if I want to be a nicer person, I'm going to look at personally, I'm going to, Chili Mex, someone I would look at to see how he treats others and see how I can improve on myself in that way, for example. So, that's a good example. And, take inspiration from people you care about, because they're always going to be the best inspiration. You can take inspiration like, oh, I want to be a good chef. I want to be a good cook. Let me look at Gordon Ramsay. But like Gordon Ramsay, you can't really relate to him. But maybe you can relate to Floos Vap. He's just a normal guy, He's just a normal guy that likes baking and cooking. So you could take inspiration from him. Like, you could take inspiration from streaming from someone that you really like their stream. Like, I don't know. You could go and say, like, there you go, Chili Mex. We got a good example. You like streaming Kingdom Hearts. Maybe you watch King Panda's Kingdom Hearts stream and you go, dang, I want to be like, I want to be that, like, that. I want to be more like him when he streams Kingdom Hearts and like do these things better or something like that as an example. Like, maybe that's an inspiration. Well, you can take some inspiration from someone in your life that you like and that you maybe look up to in some ways. And yeah, like that's kind of key. I've found in my life, it's a good opportunity to basically, take that inspiration from people you care about, because you're always going to find better inspiration from people that you care about versus from some random famous person. For example, like it's okay to find inspiration from quote unquote famous people. Like, maybe there's a famous streamer that you like, oh, I really want to be like Germa. Oh, that's fine. It's okay. That's all right. But like, maybe you do better finding inspiration from someone that you know better, that you like, that you relate to, that you can say, you know what? I relate to that person. They're just a normal person like me. And I just want to, I want to try basically being like them. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot easier to compare yourself to someone like me, or to Floos, or like Leo. I mean, whoever you want to. It's a lot easier to compare yourself to one of us versus comparing yourself to Germa or something. Like we're all just normal people. We're not like famous celebrities. So I think in that regard, that's the reason why it's way, 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 way better to compare yourself, or not compare yourself, but like use those around you for inspiration that you care about. So yeah, comparing yourself to others, we've talked about that a lot, and like that's a dangerous path. But you can compare yourself to others in the sense of like finding inspiration, but you shouldn't use them as a comparison. Like, oh, they're better than me at this, so I suck. Use them as inspiration to get better yourself, and that you can be good. It's not mutually exclusive. Just because you're not as good as them at something doesn't mean you're completely worthless. Again, I use this reference all the time. I started playing ukulele like 4 weeks ago. I am not anywhere near as good as a King Panda or a Yasha or a Pocat or a Gaby or a Bakenu in terms of music. I'm absolute garbage compared to all of them, if we're being honest. But let me preface that by saying, I'm not, that was just a joke. I'm not absolute garbage. I'm still, I've come a long way in 4 weeks. And you know what? I'm happy that I've come so far. Sure, I'm not as good as those people that have been doing it for many, many years, but that's not a bad thing, because for my own comparison to myself, again, compared to myself 4 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago and 2 weeks ago, I am way better, and it's crazy. So don't say that you don't have to suck. And I know I said the taboo thing. I made a joke about myself being garbage. I'm not garbage. I'm sure I'm not on their level, but you know what? If you went up to Raichu from let's say 2 months ago and said said like, yo, like check it out. Like you're going to learn how to play ukulele and you're going to be like pretty dang decent at it. Like I would have laughed and been like, you're crazy. That's absolutely the craziest thing I've ever heard. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And like that's stupid and you're wrong. That's not, that won't happen. But you know what? We're doing things. Like we are doing things, and it's okay that we're not the best ever. We're working on it. We're learning, and we take it one day at a time, and we just keep doing a little better. And again, it's okay. You never have to be quote unquote as good as someone else. I'll never quote unquote be as good of a streamer as Germa. Like I'm definitely not going to be making like 7 figures a year streaming. I'm never going to be like a household name that everyone in the internet knows, like that's not going to happen. It's unfortunate. I know it's very sad. I wish it were the case, but if we're being honest, it probably won't happen. And you know what? That's okay. Because you know what? I do my best in my own way. I like what I do. And that's the key, is liking what you do. And I understand that's a big challenge. And it's not easy it's easy to say, oh, like what you do. And it's not. Liking what you do can be hard, but just basically realistically, like you're not competing with anyone else. Like in life, you're not competing, and especially if they're your friends. I can guarantee, Chili Mex, if you, like, there is no competition. Like if you all of a sudden tomorrow popped off and started streaming with a regular schedule every week, and you had like 50 average viewers, and you were just like, had 10,000 followers, and you just blew me away, and you were just like, all of a sudden you're like the world famous streamer, and you like far surpassed me. Like there's no competition. Like I would be happy for you. So be happy for your friends that are great. Like I'm super happy for all the people that I know that are super talented at certain things. And sure, I might not be as good as them, but if it's something I want to try, then let me just try it. And if I like doing it, I'm going to do it. And it's okay. There's no competition. That's the thing. It's not a competition. We don't have to be on the same level. You'll very rarely be on the same level as anyone in anything in life. I have coworkers that are better than me, and I have coworkers I'm better than. Even for like serious things like work. There are people who are better than me at poker, and there are people that are worse than me at poker. Maybe the only thing Left 4 Dead 2, I might be the best in the world. Yeah, but no, I'm just kidding. But like realistically, there's always going to be people better than you, and there's going to be people worse than you. Whatever you do in life, I guarantee there's people. I've been playing ukulele for 4 weeks. There's definitely people who would see the things I do on ukulele, which again is 4 weeks in, I'm barely learning, and they would go, holy crap, that's insane. Like if I saw someone doing what I was doing, like what I'm doing now, if I saw if 6 months ago I saw someone doing what I'm doing now, I'd have been like, oh my God, that's so freaking hard. Like that's incredible that they're able to do that. Like that's the craziest thing ever. So there's always going to be people better and worse than you at things. No matter what you think, you might think, oh, I'm horrible. And I know you, Chili Mex, you think you're horrible and like, oh, I'm bad. I'm just bad. But everything you do, there's people better than you, and there's people worse than you, and there's people that look up to you, and there's people you look up to. And it's not a straight, like, I'm not looking up. We might be looking sideways or like at an angle, at a weird like angle that doesn't even make sense. I'm looking up to you in certain ways. You're looking up to me in certain ways. And that's the thing, right? Like look to others in your life that you care about for inspiration. And they're definitely looking at you for inspiration in certain ways as well. I can tell you every single person that I look to for inspiration in certain areas, I'm pretty confident that they probably look to me for inspiration in certain areas as well. And that's okay. And that's healthy. And we're not competing. We're just supporting each other. We all want the best for each other. So try to not worry about it. It's easier said than done, but realistically speaking, we are all comparing ourselves to others at all times, or we're all looking up to others in certain ways. So there's no need for a comparison in the sense of like who's better at this, me or this person. Because we're all better and worse than people at other things. Like you have, I could probably name 10 things that you're better than me at right now, and that's okay. That's okay because there's some areas that I'm probably stronger than you in, and you know what? I guarantee if you put your mind to to working at those areas that maybe I'm a little stronger than you in, I guarantee you could do better. You could be great too. And same with me. If I decided tomorrow I want to learn more. I mean, I wish I had the Kingdom Hearts knowledge of Chili Mex. Hey, you know what? I'm working on it little by little. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that helps answer that. Age, basically, realistically, it's a thing, but it's inevitable. Someday everyone's going to be old, and or you're going to unfortunately pass before your time. So I hope we all live to be super old, and we can all joke about being super old. And it is what it is. I want to live. I hope you do too. I hope everyone listening to this wants to live. And I hope you'll keep pressing on because, yeah, like I said, the alternative is we're gone too soon. And I can speak for, I know, everyone in my community. I want you all to live hopefully long and enjoyable lives. And I'll be here. And I hope that you'll be here with me because it's kind of it's interesting. We go back to like people really, you never truly know your value. Like I guarantee there's a lot of people in our community who would think like, if I was gone tomorrow, like no one would notice. But like there's a lot of people that just having their presence around, people who wouldn't expect it to, just having their presence around is such a big thing. And it's very unfortunate, and I understand how hard it is at times. Like I definitely feel the same thing sometimes. Like I know many people do, as far as like, does anyone really like me? Does anyone really want me around? If I wasn't around, would it really affect their life much? We all have those thoughts sometimes, and I can say confidently that a lot of people are a lot more valuable than they give themselves credit for. I think it's easy to say that, like, it's easy to say, Chili Mex might say, oh, sure, Raichu likes having me around, I help in the stream and stuff, but if I was gone, Yasha could cover, or, Leo or Kel, whoever, like, they can all cover, it's fine. Like, other than that, I don't do much, but, like, we're all our own unique people. And everyone in someone's life, right? So let's think of it like, let's build on my life, right? Like we'll use my life as a little map, okay? So you know what? I'm gonna bust out the MS Paint. We're gonna go to a different screen. And if you're only listening, no problem. But I'm just gonna draw a visual aid for people because I think it could help. So here's what we're gonna draw. So here's me. Here's me. This is me, okay? Me. It says me, okay? So in my life, I have all these aspects, okay? And we'll only say we'll only use people here, okay? So like we're not gonna put like job. There's a lot of aspects of your life, right? Like job, house, like pets, all that kind of stuff. But let's just like we'll use this aspect, right? Like family. And we have all these pieces, right? We have all of these pieces, like friends, like close friends, like etc. Like I don't know, I could start putting names down here, but I won't call anyone out and put their names down here. Maybe they would want to hear it, who knows? But anyway, so like you have all these important pieces of your puzzle, right? And sure, like it's easy to say like, oh, Raichu loses this, like let's I don't know, we'll just say Chili Mex is asking the question, let's put this leg as Chili Mex. Like sure, this Chili Mex leg gets cut off. Okay, Chili Mex is, this is kind of dark, but like Chili Mex is gone, okay? Like okay, so it's fine. Like look, Raichu has his family, he's got his friends, he's got his close friends, he has other mods here. He's fine, right? Like he's fine. He just lost this little piece. Like it's okay, it's no big deal. But like every piece of your puzzle in your life, you have people, and every single person brings something different. No two people are alike, and that's the beautiful thing about people, right? Is like sure, like let's say, we'll use another example. The funniest person I know, Kel Mori. Sure, there's other people in my life that make me laugh. if Kel was gone tomorrow, there would be other people in my life that make me smile and laugh, but no one does it the way he does, for example. So we all have unique things about us that would be missing from the puzzle. And sure, like you know, like it's easy to count yourself out and say, oh, they got plenty of other cool people in their life. It's fine. Like, oh, this person, sure, like they say they like me, whatever, but they have like 10 other really close friends, and you know, they spend time with them all the time and stuff. So really, if I was gone, like who really, you know, they wouldn't care that much. Like, sure, they might be a little bit sad, but like, you know, it's whatever. They'd be fine. But it's not like that. Like every piece of your puzzle, these are all pieces of your puzzle, and losing even one piece. Think of life like a puzzle. Like in life, here's your puzzle, and a completed puzzle is beautiful, right? It looks gorgeous. Like it's completed. It feels nice. It looks nice. Like everything is great about it. But now just take one piece out of the middle. All of a sudden, it's ruined. It looks horrible. I mean, it can get by. It can look pretty good, but that one singular piece being gone affects it so much. Same with think of building a Lego set. Like there could be one key piece, and sure, you have the other pieces, so it still kind of looks like you're building the Simba Lego set. It still kind of looks like Simba, but you're missing one key piece, and it affects the whole thing, and all of a sudden it's just worse. It's significantly worse. Think of it like that. You can still get by. If I'm sure you all would live on, okay? If something were to happen to me, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, you'll all live on, okay? You won't stop living because I'm gone. But I can say, and again, I can hopefully have the confidence to say that sure, you will keep living, but I think a lot of people, it would be a missing piece from their puzzle if I wasn't there. And so it's yeah, sure, you keep going, but I guess that's, I don't know, I kind of tangented, but let's go back to see what question I was even answering, because I've already forgotten. But yeah, I guess just know that you have value. And what were we talking about? How did I get on that tangent? I don't know. But you have value. Every single person, to those in your life, you are a piece of their puzzle. And again, there are people that probably think they're insignificant in my life, but they would be a piece of my puzzle missing if they were gone. So I hope you'll keep on going because yeah, and yes, and let me get this clear as well. Some people are bigger pieces of the puzzle in people's lives. There are definitely people in my life that would be a massive piece, absolutely, my life would not be the same without them, a huge piece of the puzzle. And some would maybe be a smaller piece. But either way, a piece would be missing if they were gone. And, there's no value because you're not, there's no, you're not, again, comparing yourself to others, you're not worthless because someone has, just as an example, because someone has better, closer friends, that are closer in their life than you are. It's not, you don't lose all value because you're not on the same level as someone else's friend, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that well, but basically it's it's the same idea of comparing yourself to others. Oh, well, Raichu likes this person more than me, so I'm worthless. It's not like that. Everyone in your life, everyone has bigger pieces in their puzzle and smaller pieces, but everyone in your life is a piece of your puzzle to some extent. And yes, some pieces will be bigger than others, and that's okay, but you are a piece in many, many people's puzzles in life. So you're, even if you're not the biggest piece of everyone's puzzle, definitely to some people you are a big piece of their puzzle, and to others you might be a smaller piece, but you're still an important piece. So I hope that makes sense. Comparing yourself to others, it's dangerous. It really is. So just be careful with it. That's all I would say. So yeah, you're talking about simple things like a new hobby. So we talked a lot about hobbies, but also bigger, life-changing steps in your life. Okay, so let's talk about that. Wow. Look at someone 10 years younger than me is getting married and I'm single. Hey, that's real easy. A real slippery slope. That's a big one that I will say that people slip over a lot. But you kind of just have to, I guess, take a step back and know that people's life journeys go differently. And because someone looks like they have it all together, for example, a great example, my friend who passed in 2020, when I met him, he was I think he was 20 years old, and he had a girlfriend, long-term girlfriend. They were close to getting married. In fact, they did get married. I was their witness at their wedding. It was like a small wedding, and I was the witness. And so it would have been easy for me to say wow, I've never even been on a date or had anyone romantically interested in me. My first ever romantic interest, they'd already been together for years. And my first ever romantic interest was already after they'd already been together for years. But people have different journeys in life. Guess what? Those two my friend who passed in 2020 and his ex-wife, they got divorced years later. So while I thought they have everything and it's they got this perfect love, they ended up getting divorced. And then my friend, tragically ended up passing in 2020. So it's you don't know what your path is. And you don't know the end of your story until it gets there. We none of us know. And that's the scary part of life. And that's also the beautiful part in life. You know what I mean? And it is scary, and it's okay to be pessimistic. But you also have to think of it on the flip side. Guess what? Tomorrow, I could meet the most amazing person, fall in love, and we could spend the rest of our lives together. Or tomorrow, I could make an amazing friend. We could bond so well. We could hit it off so well. And we could be best friends forever. You know what I mean? You don't know what's coming. You can look at others, but their story's different from yours. And I don't mean to wish this ill upon anyone who has early success in life. But you don't know. Just because they're really crushing it at 20 years old and I'm pushing 30 and I'm not doing too well. You don't know what life will hold for them when they're 30. You know what I mean? So it's you really don't know what. I'm sure I can use an example from my own life. I'm sure many people are damn, Raichu's got it all together. Well, I got divorced this year. So realistically, you might have thought, oh, Raichu has the best life. He's got a partner and he's got this happily ever after life. But you didn't know what life held for me either. And sometimes life holds bad things for you. You think someone has it all together, and sometimes bad things can happen to someone that has it all together. And you know what? It's okay. Bad things do happen. And they're unfair sometimes, and life gets you down. But again, that comes back to if you're still alive and you're waking up, you're getting out of bed that day and you're saying, yo, I choose life, anything can happen. It really can. And again, comparing yourself to others is dangerous because you don't know what the future is going to hold for them, just like you don't know what it's going to hold for you. 5 years from now, my life's in a tough spot right now. I have a lot of things going for me, but I have a lot of tough things for me right now as well. So you don't know. 5 years from now, could I be super depressed, all alone? I lost my job. Yeah, we're getting dark, but could all those bad things happen? They could. That's life. Sure. Or 5 years from now, maybe I'll have a fully paid off house with the love of my life. With my streaming has popped off. I'm a Twitch partner now. I still upload videos all the time. I'm thriving. I have all these amazing friends in my life. We don't know, and that's the thing. And Chili Mex, you're negative on yourself, but you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years. 5 years from now, you could be freaking married with the love of your life. So many supportive friends. You could be having who knows what, where you could be in your career in 5 years. There are so many things that can happen, and we just don't know. We don't know. 5 years from now, Chili Mex, you could be the greatest success in life, and my life could have crumbled and fallen apart and be just horrible. So that's why it's scary. You can't really compare yourself to others because you don't know where people are going to be in the future. And I don't mean that to sound dark, and I know it kind of does sound scary, wow, right? She's basically saying my life could be shit in 5 years. That's what life does. It can be anything. You don't know for sure. you can do things in your life to try to set yourself up for success, but it's not a guarantee. Nothing's ever a guarantee in life, except the fact that you either get older or you die. That's the guarantee. So, even if people look like they're succeeding, Chili Mex, you don't know what's to come for you. And you know what? If you ask me, I think good things are coming for you. And I hope that you'll use that as motivation to, oh, why am I here? I meant to go to I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. But yeah, like, I hope you'll use that as motivation. Like, I believe that you'll do good things in life. And there's definitely people that look up to you in certain ways. I know I do. And who knows where your life is going to take you. I hope it'll take you good places, because it's a journey, and you have, and that is the scary part of life, is you do have your highs and you have your lows, and it is a roller coaster. You have your lowest lows. I can confidently say, the lowest lows of my life this year. But that is what lets me know that my roller coaster, there was no further where down to go. So that means my roller coaster is going up, baby. And I don't know how high up it'll go. Maybe it'll just go a little bit up and then it'll go back down again. Or maybe it'll keep going up. I couldn't tell you. Maybe it'll level off. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm just going to do my best, and I'm going to hope, and I'm going to try things. I'm going to reach out to people. I'm going to try to make friends. I'm going to try to be kind to people. I'm going to try to continue to form bonds. I'm going to try to do my best, work hard in the areas that I'm passionate about, and I'm going to see where things take me. I don't know where they're going to take me, but you know what? None of us do. And so that's the scary part of life, is it's a great big mystery. So let's ride the roller coaster together, Chili Mex. I hope that we can keep on riding it, and wherever it takes the both of us, we don't know, but I hope it's somewhere good. I do, but we don't know. And there might be more dips before there's a rise. You never really know. But let's keep on riding, because when you get off the ride, that's when it's all over. So stay on the ride, and let's see where we go. So I think that answered the question pretty well. Chili Mex, feel free to ask it again in the future if I didn't cover any part of it. And that goes for anyone else too that's listening. If I didn't cover your question to the extent that you wanted, and you want to ask a follow-up or something, feel free. Always feel free. Don't be shy about asking questions. We're here to talk about things together. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps. All right. So I have a few little talking points here, and I don't know if I want to cover all of them, but I'm going to cover a bit, because I do want to save some. I don't want to talk about every single point ever, in the first two podcasts, and then the rest of the podcasts have nothing. So I think the point I'm going to make today is, well, I don't know. Should we have, maybe there's a couple, I don't know. So I guess, we talked about this before, but making the correct read does not always yield the result you want. And I just want to kind of reiterate that. I guess it kind of ties into that last question, but like, in life, you have to make reads on situations, and that can apply to anything. That can apply to a job. It can apply to reaching out to someone, trying to start a friendship. It can apply to reaching out, like trying to ask someone out on a date, asking them to be your partner, something like that. It can apply to trying a new hobby, like, I think this is a good time in my life to try this hobby, or to try to doing this, It won't always work out. And, you can make the correct read on the situation. You can say, I should do this now, and then it blows up in your face. But that doesn't mean that you didn't make the right choice trying. And I just kind of want to reiterate that and say, like, yeah, sometimes you'll try something and it will fail. But it doesn't mean that you made a mistake trying it. It just means that it wasn't meant to be, perhaps. So just kind of take that as you will. Being open and honest with people. I think this is a big one as well. And I think this is a key point, talking about like relationships. And when I say relationships, I don't mean romantic only. I mean friendships as well. But like being open and honest with people about like, I think we owe it to each other in life to help each other be better. in the sense that, like, if someone does something or says something or they act a way that hurts you, and they are like an important part of your life, you should be open with them about, like, hey, you did this thing and it bothered me or it upset me or it hurt me or it made me think less of you that you did this, or like whatever it may be. Like, being honest is really important. And, people have done that to me in life. I'm miles away from perfect. I am so far from perfect, it's ridiculous. So I make mistakes. And I'm always thankful when someone says something to me like, hey, Raichu, you acted like this, or you said this thing to me, and that kind of put me off. It's really, really, really important, I feel like, to do that kind of thing with people that you care about in life, because otherwise, how are you going to get better? If I'm like, let's just say, whenever I go and voice call, I annoy people. Like you guys are my friends. Let's say I go in the voice call and I'm annoying and like I bother you. I say like things that like upset people. Like, you guys would be doing me a disservice not talking to me and saying like, Raichu, like, I noticed like when you get in the call, you do this a lot and like you kind of act obnoxious and you say like, blah, 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 whatever you said or whatever you did. Like, I just wanted to like, I don't know, talk to you about that and just get your thoughts on that, because like, otherwise I'm going to keep doing that thing. If no one ever gives me feedback, I would keep doing that thing. It's a lot like even at work. Like, if I make a mistake at work, I want my boss to say, you effed up here. Because otherwise, I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep making that mistake, and I'm just going to keep doing worse and worse. I'm really, really, and that's one of my strong points in life, is I'm good at listening to feedback and doing better. Like, if you said, right, you kind of talk over people a lot. For like, let's just say that. Let's use an example. I don't think I do this too badly, but maybe I do. Maybe you guys will come and say, you know what, Raichu? You actually do that. But like, let's say, Raichu, you talk over people. Like, when you're in voice calls, you talk over them, and it's really rude. Like, it's very off-putting. I don't think you realize you're doing it, because I don't. I don't think I'm doing it, but maybe I am. So as an example, that's just an example. But like, if someone came to me and said, Raichu, like, I think you do this thing, and it really bothered me, and it made me like I was like, I really liked you a lot, and then you kept doing this, and it really like made me not like you as much. Like, if you came to me with that, I would be so thankful, because like otherwise, how am I supposed to know or get better? Now that I know that, I can work on that. So I think it's really important. If you truly care about someone and they do something that upsets you or bothers you in life, help each other stay sharp. It's a really good way to bond, in my opinion. And if they actually get that like turned off, like that you were trying to help them and don't talk to you, I don't think they were probably very much your friend anyway. Because I can tell you, anyone close to my life that did that to me, I would say, wow, I really appreciate you being honest with me, because I want to do better. I don't want to be annoying. So, I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, is being honest with people that they care about in life. So I think that's something everyone can work on, all of us together, myself included. Sometimes I don't say something when I probably should too. But yeah, like let's all work on that together. That's something I want to get better at. So I hope we can all get better at that together, because it's important to keep your friends sharp. If you really care about them, you want them to be their best selves. You don't want them, if there's truly something you dislike about them, and it's like changeable, like me talking over people in voice calls, for example. Again, I don't know if I do that, but maybe I do. It just popped to mind because I was thinking of like, I'm kind of loud on voice calls, right? So like, maybe I do that. So if that's something that I do, like, help me to be better so that we can all enjoy each other's company more. You know what I mean? So just as an example, like maybe, every time Chili Mex gets in call, he won't stop talking about Kingdom Hearts, and like that really upsets me. I'm just kidding. But, like if there was something like that, I think I would go tell Chili Mex, there's not, but if there was, I think I would tell him. So it's important. Keep your friends sharp. Keep your friends sharp, and help them to be the best them that they can be. All right. One last point. This is a very interesting point I wanted to bring up, and I was thinking about this. So this note says, showing is important, but telling is important too. So a common thing you hear is like, is from, people. It's like basically essentially like, if you're my friend, like, if you care about me, show me, don't tell me. And that the idea, and the people, when people say that, they mean well, right? It means like, don't just say like, hey, you matter a lot to me, and then you don't show it, right? Like, hey, you really are a good friend of mine, like I really care about you, and then I never ever like make an effort to hang out with you or like or talk to you or check in on you or anything. Like, that is an example of I'm telling you something, but I'm showing something different. And that's bad too. But also, think about it like this, right? And this, I feel like this is really important. Showing is important, right? It's important to show your friends, like that you care about them, right? It sure is. Like, it 100% is. But imagine if you only show them, quote unquote. If you're only showing them, how often do you really have an opportunity to show people, right? Like, maybe once in a while you do have an opportunity to show people, like, like, oh, hey, I care, like I went and commissioned this art for your birthday or something. Like, look, I'm a good friend. I remembered your birthday, and I had a gift planned for you. Like that is a good way of showing. Maybe you show them by asking them to hang out with you or go to a party with you or something on the weekend, etc. Like, those are all great. But the thing to keep in mind is that showing alone is just, it's not always frequent enough. You know what I mean? Like sure, like, it's great that yeah, they show you every couple months or every month or every 6 months that, yeah, okay, they're showing me that they're a big part of my life, that they care. But like, think of all the time in between that, and how hard life can be, and how people get down on themselves, how people feel bad, and how people feel unloved, and how people just like struggle with daily life because life is hard. Like, think of it like that. Like, and now think about how you can fill in those gaps by telling. You know what I mean? Like sure, like I have a Christmas present planned for you. Like, that's 3 months from now, but like, you're gonna wait 3 months, and I'm not gonna like be able to show you that I like you're one of the most important parts of my life till then. Well, let me tell you. In the meantime, let me tell you and show you. Let me just say, like, hey, like, it goes back to what I was saying, like, hey, you really are an important part of my life, and it's always amazing hanging out with you, and I just wanted to remind you that, like, it's great to have you by my side in this freaking scary life we live. You know what I mean? Like there, basically, I just want to hit home that, like, just showing or just telling, both are, in my opinion, both are equally bad. And it can be hard. I know the telling part is extremely hard because again, everyone's self-conscious, and you're worried that oh, I'm going to tell them that I care about them, and then they're going to think I'm a weirdo. Uh-oh. But it's really important to do in conjunction with showing. So the people in your life, don't just show them, do tell them as well. Do both. Show them and tell them. Make sure that words aren't alone, because words aren't enough. You can't just say words and then not follow up on those words with actions. Like, if I say I'm so, like, I really want to hang out with you a lot, and then I never ever make any effort to whatsoever, well, that's empty words. But if I say nothing, and then 6 months from now I get you a really cool Christmas gift, like a really personalized, ultra special Christmas gift, well, sure, like, after those 6 months, you're going to be like, wow, Rachel really does care about me. He just got me this, like, really incredible gift. Like, wow, he definitely does care about me. But guess what? You were probably feeling pretty in doubt at times during the rest of those 6 months where I wasn't showing or telling you at all. So fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps. We need those gaps filled in. You can't just wait to be shown. You need to be told, and you need to be shown. So it's very, very, very important to not only show, but to also tell, and to not only tell, but also show. You need to do both. You need to do both. It's an important part of a well-balanced friendship is utilizing both of those things, and not just not just showing it every once in a while. Make sure the people that are a big part of your life know it, because we're all struggling, and that's why I try to be very open, because I know the people around me are struggling, and so I want to make sure that they know on any given day, not just Christmas, not just Thanksgiving, but on October 4th, you should know that you're important to me as well. So it's important for the people to know that, in my opinion. And I hope that you will not only tell, but also show those around you that you care about them. Not only show, but also tell as well. So do it all. Do it all. If they're important in your life, I know, we're all busy, et cetera, but you know what? Show some love, tell some love, and spread that love. It's important. It's important. Life's hard. So yeah. All right. Well, that's the last topic I wanted to cover today, guys. We got through all the questions. We got through every topic I wanted to talk about. So I think pretty much we are done. I think that's the end of the podcast. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening this week. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, I hope you will tell me, because that's the best feedback I can get. That's what keeps me going, is hearing that someone got something out of it. So I hope you got something out of it. If not, that's okay too. But I hope that you did gain something, and I hope that that you'll come back next week to listen again, because yeah, we're keeping the train rolling. I hope you'll be back next week to ask some more questions, because I will be back here to chat about life and to answer your questions, hopefully. So much love, guys. Thank you again for being here for week number 2, episode 2 of the vaRAIety podcast. I appreciate you being here. I'm sending you much love, and have a wonderful day. Take care.